Warm greetings from the High 10. This is Everyday Shenanigans, and I want to thank you for joining me. I would like to bring you sad information coming out of East Tennessee. If you need verification for the storyline, please log on to News 11, WJHL Tri-Cities News and Weather. Prosecutors explain why they aren't seeking the death penalty for Megan Boswell. State prosecutors announced Friday morning that they will seek life imprisonment without parole for Megan Boswell. The Sullivan County teenager faces murder charges for the death of her 15-month-old daughter, Evelyn. Prosecutors say their decision was based on legal proceeding. Megan appeared for a virtual court hearing on Friday. Her charges include 2 counts of felony murder, 1 count of aggravated child abuse, 1 count of aggravated child neglect, among others. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigations issued an Amber Alert for Evelyn on February 19, 2020. The toddler's body was found inside a shed on a Boswell family member's property in March. Most court documents for Megan's case remain sealed under court order, including Evelyn's autopsy. Sullivan County District Attorney General Barry Staubus believes life imprisonment without parole was the correct decision. Court documents listed 1 aggravating factor, reading, "The murder was committed against a person less than 12 years of age, and the defendant was 18 years of age or older." Megan was 18 at the time of Evelyn's death. Staubus explained the decision to News Channel 11 on Friday because of, as I said, the prior decision by the Tennessee Supreme Court that says if you have an 18-year-old defendant without a record and only 1 aggravating factor, then it's disproportionate and it's not a valid death penalty in that case. That's what they decided, he said. Staubus is referring to the State versus Godsey case, which played out in Tennessee Supreme Court in 2001. Originally, Bobby Godsey was convicted by Sullivan County of first-degree felony murder for killing an infant. He received a death sentence, and appeals court later ruled against this sentence. Godsey was eventually sentenced to life without parole. Bobby Godsey in court in the said photograph in 1997, if you need verification for the storyline. "I'm very familiar with the case because I assisted in the trial of that case," Staubus said of State versus Godsey. Staubus also said he spoke with members of the Boswell family before making the decision in Megan's case as well. Megan's appointed attorney, Brad Sproles, said he wasn't surprised the state will not pursue the death penalty. "There's some case law that would work against him," he said. News Channel 11 asked Sproles if the decision was a relief for Megan. "Probably, yeah. I'm sure she's not happy about the possibility of spending the rest of her life in prison, though," said Sproles. Megan's next court date is set as May 14th. By this date, both Staubus and Sproles said they hope to have gone through the vast amount of case evidence. Sproles will have the opportunity to file motions ahead of the case potentially heading to trial. That is the end of that said information. News 11 is the source. There's also a picture inside this article with Megan standing before a judge, a virtual hearing in a mask. And as I state, this article is relaying the fact that she will be held accountable, but only by life imprisonment and not the death penalty because of her age, and she doesn't have any other criminal record. Her attorney, I believe was his name, Sproles, I believe. Well, if you're the same guy that was on TV last year, I wasn't too enthralled by your demeanor and the fact that they're asking, how does she feel? And you're like, yeah, well, I guess she wouldn't want to spend the rest of her life in prison. Well, I guess she wouldn't. Frankly, I don't care anything about Megan Boswell, to be frank, because when you look in this said article, you see a picture of Evelyn, and she was a beautiful baby. Beautiful baby. And you look at this heathen here, one could say, I don't really give a damn the fact that she was 18 years of age and didn't have a prior criminal record. She killed that baby. And I don't think it was an accident, because most accidents, parents have the free will and common sense to call 911 if something has happened to their child. The fact that you hid the child on your father's property, you lied to authorities about the child, you never came forward first and foremost to even report the child missing. Let's just start at the beginning. Megan never came forward to even say that her child was missing. She lied to authorities after a relative made the initial complaint report that the child was missing, which is to believe it be the grandfather. So here you are, the mother of a small 15-month-old child. You never report the child missing, hurt, injured, or anything. It's only when a relative hadn't noticed seeing you allegedly with the child that a report was filed to the Department of Human Services, and therefore the police department got involved. And you played duck, duck, goose with the authorities, lying and making up story after story after story. And now we fast forward a year later. Here comes the fact that the court has ruled, only giving her a sentence of life if indeed the jury finds her guilty. Well, that's great for her, but it's not great for baby Evelyn. She's no longer here. And as I state, when you look at the photos of baby Evelyn, she was a gorgeous child. No doubt. That was a beautiful baby. And no matter whatever the hell was going on with Megan in her life, she could have easily placed her child up for adoption or went to somebody to see if they could help her raise her child. But I believe she murdered that kid. And the fact that she lied to authorities on and on and on, once the initial report came out about the child, and I believe an Amber Alert, she knew the child was dead. She knew where she had put the child. So therefore, this little notion of, well, she's 18, no prior record, let's just give her life if indeed she's found guilty, means nothing to me. And as I state, it's a slap in the face to the dead baby. And I don't trust any of the relatives that were involved, because as you know, a dead body will smell. So what we have to ask ourselves, nobody smelled human remains inside of that shed. And if it is also to be believed that the child was found on the property of her father, Megan's father, you mean to tell me you don't go inside your own shed? You didn't lock the shed? How did Megan take the body into the shed? And will she say, I didn't put the body in the shed? And if we are to believe that Megan didn't put the body in the shed, then who put the body in the shed? The unlocked shed. Yeah. I think they're all complicit, some way or another. Because as I state, this is private property. A dead baby was found in a shed. And sir, you didn't know that a child was in there, wrapped up in whatever it was, discarded. You didn't smell decomposition in your shed. I find that very odd and peculiar. Because it's not like it was a shed that possibly you never used. And you can smell decomposition a little ways from being near it. I think we all know that. Sad, sad story. Sad, sad, disgusting story of another child snuffed out and everybody playing games with the authorities and duck, duck, goose. And now we get the news of the state not offering the death penalty. And what my fear would be is if she is found guilty of murdering her child, second degree, manslaughter, whatsoever, that possibly she'll get out. That she'll sit in jail a little while and somebody will decide she needs to come out. She's young. She should have a life. She should be able to redeem herself. How are you going to redeem somebody that, one, lied to authorities, held the lie to the very end, God forbid goes to court, continues to lie, and then you want us to believe somewhere down the line from all that lying, she's redeemed herself and should be let go free after so many years of being incarcerated. I tell you people, you better stay woke out there. She's a sociopath. And she came from troubled people, chaotic people. And that's the very reason why she ended up in the situation that she ended up in. Pillar to post, baby missing, police report filed by a relative, and baby later found on the same property. Very odd and suspicious. When I get more information to this story, I will bring it to you. Rest in heaven, little Evelyn. There's people down here fighting for you, honey. Like so many other children who've gotten lost in the shuffle. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. This is Everyday Shenanigans.